All right. I have no promise I'm not actually a robot, despite what we talked about earlier. All right. So I want to talk to you about pattern matching. I'm going to do lightning talk about why pattern matching is cool. I always used to see it around and say, why is it cool? Isn't it just kind of like a crazy switch statement or something? And Wikipedia is not much help. It says the act of checking a given sequence of tokens for the presence of constituents of some pattern. Okay, that's way too broad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an Elixir syntax, which hopefully won't be too hard to read. Maybe what finally got me to realize why pattern matching is cool and what you actually do with it. So hopefully you all can read this code. I know it's a little bit large, but we'll try our best to deal with this. And I just have a few tests to kind of show you the coolness of what happens here in Elixir. So this equal sign, you might be thinking here is assignment, but it isn't. It's actually this specific thing called the match operator that sometimes kind of acts like assignment. So here, if I have x equals 1 and I have this kind of case syntax, I'll show you like a basic version of this where it looks like the things that you're used to seeing. Yeah, I guess I got to run it again. Hopefully it'll actually, nope, I already had my test running. All right, so let me stop everything and rerun. So if I run it, it'll say x equals 1, and it says x is 1, right? So I set x equal to 1 here, and then I have these case statements like 1, and then, put something out to the screen. That's what io_puts does. But you can do weirder stuff, like you can put 1 equals x, and this is highlighting that it's actually trying to match against this particular one thing. It doesn't show anything when you do this, but if I just rerun it here, and you'll see it's kind of this annoying blue text here at the bottom. Sorry about this, but hopefully y'all can read decently well. It'll say x equals 1. It says that it got through. But if I actually did something like 2 equals x, where it's trying to match this pattern, and I run it, it complains and says, you can't do that. And it has a failure when you do that. It gives a pattern matching error. Anyway, I just want to let you know that it kind of does different things based on context. You have these case switch things, but you can do fancier things, right? Like not only just this kind of pattern matching, but you can use what they call guards. In addition to this, to say more specific things, like if it's an integer and it's greater than 0, tell me that. So what if I set, you can rebind things, unlike Erlang, which Elixir is based on. And so I rerun this, and it'll say, oh, okay, let's see. So x is positive, but not 1 or 2. You can do extra conditions in these guards that are fancier than you can do with the pattern matching. All right, good time. So that's kind of basics of pattern matching. Let's do something more fun. It highlights more of what's cool about pattern matching. Save that. And then now I'm going to be running second test down here. Sorry, I scroll kind of fast. And I have a bunch of helpers to show you how you can use this to do polymorphism. Where polymorphism being do different things for the same function based on the kind of data you're handing in. So like if I have this helper1 function that I call and I give it the value 5, I can actually do polymorphic checking here. It says, hey, whenever it's 5, go into this function. This is actually calling the function. You don't call the function unless that value is equal to 5 that you're handing into this thing. And it says, hey, I called helper1 with an argument of 5. Cool. And so that'll work if I did 10 or other things. What if I put in something like 20? And did that instead. So I run this, and then you go, okay, what will it do based on what I have here? Okay, well, I defined helper1 for 5. It didn't go to that one. I defined helper1 when you input 10, didn't go to that one, right? I actually had this one that says, oh, when is integer or x is greater than 0, okay, call this one. That's the first one it matched. So it said I called helper1 with a positive number that wasn't 5 or 10. So you can do some pretty wacky polymorphism. This x can stand in for anything as long as it's integer and x equals 0. Okay, what if I made it like a string instead? And ran that and say, okay, what do I do with that? Okay, well, it didn't match any of these other ones because it didn't match in the first 3 cases. It matched this one x where it just kind of matches at anything. Also, you can do an underscore to say I don't care about what it is, or a variable that starts with underscore. That's why I say I'll never get called here, because x will always pick it up for you. And you can also tell it how many arguments it should expect and stuff. That's what's also cool about pattern matching, is that you not only can sort of, there's many ways to talk about the shape of stuff. The thing I really want to show you that's super cool in my last minute here is the awesomeness of pattern matching combined with destructuring, like this kind of JavaScript-y sort of destructuring thing. So if I run this code here, it's going to run this third test I have. And then I have this map where I put in my name, my batch, and my hobby, and I put my brother. He's not in Recurse, so he just has a name and a hobby. And my mom, well, I just won't give her a name and give her a hobby. So what you can do is you can use this destructuring syntax here. And this is also polymorphic, right? So it says if you have a name and a batch, it'll call it. But like for my brother who doesn't have a batch, it's going to go down and say, well, you do have a name, it matches that. And not only that, it actually changes the variable to that, like destructuring syntax. And if you don't know anything at all, you can just say, well, I don't know anything, and put it down here. You can have a failure case here. So you can do really powerful stuff with this. Just the last like 10 seconds here, I want to say you can put things in all sorts of places. Anonymous functions, for loops, try catch blocks, receiving from messages and stuff like that. It's so cool. Love it to death. All right, that's it.